I'm Amy the Bunny Lady, and this is my partner Elusive, Ellie for short. High five. Good job, good job. And today we're going to talk about how you can read your rabbit's body language so that you can understand what they're saying and feeling. If you are new to our channel, welcome. We give tips and tricks for how to make sure you have a happy and healthy bunny in your home. So if that's the kind of thing that you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscription button and the notification bell next to it so you never miss any of our weekly videos. So I'm going to start off this list by going over just the normal, confident, casual body language that your rabbit will have so that you can learn to tell apart the difference between this and like when they're scared and between when they're normal and when they're angry. So when a rabbit is kind of casual, confident, just their normal kind of default body language, generally they will be kind of relaxed. They won't be rigid. They won't be kind of standing on their tiptoes. They'll be pretty relaxed. Their ears will be up, but not rigidly up. What are you doing? Their ears will be up, but not rigidly up. Likely they won't be facing straight forward or straight in any direction, though they might swivel around a little bit just as they hear noises in the room. They won't look like they're going to dash away at any moment, but that's kind of the general relaxed body language that we're comparing everything else to. So next we'll talk about alert body language. So this is when your rabbit is scared of something. There's some kind of danger that they feel they need to be aware of. This is when your rabbit will kind of tense up a little bit. They might go on the tiptoes of their back feet. They could also stand up on their back feet and kind of look around. They'll look like they're ready to run away, and they'll have a very rigid body. Now the easiest way to determine when they're alert is actually their ears. So the ears will be straight up, and usually they'll be facing forward. Sometimes if there is a sound or something coming from a different direction, they'll have one ear like facing straight up, straight rigidly up towards that other direction. But most of the time it'll be facing straight forward. They'll also have wide eyes. Sometimes you might see the whites of their eyes, sometimes you might not. But generally their eyes will be wide open. In their movement, you might see the rabbits kind of freeze in place, and then they will kind of dash to another place and then freeze there while they look around and not stay on high alert. And they'll keep doing that. If you try to pet your rabbit and comfort them, they often won't let you comfort them. They'll like shrug your hand off and continue to be on high alert. They'll also sometimes thump, which we will get to in a little bit, because thumping actually has multiple meanings. When rabbits start getting aggressive, they will have a different kind of body language. Now, normally when this happens, their ears will go on a 45-degree angle backwards, and usually the opening of their ears will be facing down. That's going to be the easiest way to know when your rabbit is starting to feel aggressive and angry. But you will also see their tail will come up. Pretty much like the whole back of their butt will look like it's coming up. And you might also see your rabbit's chin kind of jutting forward. That's a way for them to kind of warn you. It's a warning that if you don't go away, they're going to try to bite. Some rabbits will also do this behavior called boxing when they get aggressive, and this is when they go up on their hind legs and basically try to swat at you with their front legs. I wouldn't say this one is totally common. While swatting at you is normal, normally that will happen from the ground level. So if your rabbit is showing aggressive behavior and then you try to like put your hand towards them to pet them, a lot of times instead of biting you first, they'll try to swat your hand away. So they will like come up and swat, but some rabbits will jut their head forward and bite. So those are the two types of kind of aggressive behavior. I find usually swatting comes first, and then if you don't stop, then they'll try to bite you. Curious and cautious are kind of hard to separate. They can look very much the same thing, and generally they are. They're difficult to differentiate, so I'm putting them together, but as you get to know your rabbit more, you'll start to be able to tell the difference on your own base as you watch your rabbit. But for this curious and cautious behavior, their ears will be going on a forward angle above their head, usually pointed towards whatever object they are curious in. Their nose will be going very fast because rabbits do get a lot of information from their environment through smell, and they can usually smell a little bit better if they're wiggling their nose. It stimulates their ability to like smell things better, basically. They'll keep their back feet in one place while they stretch forward with their front feet. So they'll be on the tiptoes of their back feet and be stretching forward. A lot of times you'll see this if you are opening up a new room to a rabbit that they've never been in before. They will keep their back feet in the old room while they stretch forward cautiously to check out the new room. And you will also see their tail going down behind them, just like stretching out down. You'll see how long your rabbit's tail actually is. It's not just a little puffball, but you'll see their tail stretching out down behind them. One behavior that can be kind of frustrating to a lot of people is when rabbits scatter their poop around. This is something that's going to happen basically anytime your rabbit enters a new area. Usually it subsides after the first or second time they've gone to a new place, especially if your rabbit has been spayed or neutered. But it is something that rabbits do. Luckily, rabbit poop is not gross, but it's a territorial thing where they're spreading their scent or claiming this new place as their territory. That's also why when you have your rabbit's enclosure, oftentimes, no matter how many times you clean it up, they'll still have some poops kind of spread around in their enclosure. That's just their way of saying, this is my space, so I'm putting my poop here to claim it. If you're lucky, they won't be spraying too. That's something that will usually not happen after a rabbit's been spayed or neutered, but it does kind of depend on the rabbit. If they feel like their territory is being threatened, then they might start spraying. For example, when I first brought Teddy home to start bonding them, they were both spraying all over the place because they felt like the other rabbit was kind of encroaching on their territory. So that's something that I had to deal with in that case, even though they are both litter trained. You will see rabbits rubbing their chin on things. This just means that they are claiming it as their territory pretty much. They are marking it with their scent. See, rabbits have scent glands underneath their chin, just like many other animals, so they will rub their chin on it to say, this is mine now. You'll see them rubbing their chin on like furniture legs. You'll see them rubbing their chin on, basically, I've seen Teddy rub his chin on Ellie, which is kind of weird, I guess, but that happens too. So they'll rub their chin on just about anything that they want to claim. They're just spreading their scent and making sure that, you know, everyone knows that this is theirs, because rabbits are very territorial creatures. Sometimes you will see that your rabbit is circling your feet. Usually this means that they are very happy. They're circling your feet out of excitement because they are circling your feet out of excitement, and they are very happy. Usually it's because they know you have a treat, or it's breakfast or dinner time, and they're just very excited about that. If you see a rabbit circling another rabbit, however, that's more of a dominance behavior, and that's your rabbit basically trying to claim dominance over the other rabbit. Rabbits can hold a grudge sometimes, so they will like refuse to interact with you if you did something that made them mad. So like if you had to go and clip their nails, for the next couple hours, maybe your rabbit will just refuse to even acknowledge your existence, and they'll give you the cold shoulder. If you try to go pet them, they'll just hop away from you. Usually they will actually like show their butt to you and be like, this is what you get. So that's something to expect. They can hold a grudge, but usually treats or petting or even just a little bit of time, and they will forgive you. Rabbit sleeping positions. So rabbits will sleep in generally 3 main positions. So there'll be the rabbit loaf, where this is something that you are used to when seeing cats. They'll sleep in this little loaf position, and they'll have ears. Sometimes their ears will be up, sometimes their ears will be down on their back. They can sleep both ways. Rabbits can also sprawl out to sleep. So they'll sprawl out on their side. Usually in these cases their head will still be up. Their ears can be up or down along their back. Either way they can sleep. A lot of times they will be sprawled out leaning next to something, so next to the wall or something like that. And sometimes they will put their head down in between their paws. And then the third way is totally flopped over on their sides. This is something that can be a little bit scary to people who are new to rabbits, because it kind of looks like your rabbit like keeled over and died, especially because they will randomly just like fall onto their side. It's not like they will gently get into this position. They just go floop and flop over sideways. But it's just a sleeping position. In fact, it's a very relaxed sleeping position. This is a position that it's harder for rabbits to be aware in, and it's harder for them to get up from. So this means that they actually feel very safe in their environment, and they trust you not to hurt them or anything like that. It's a very trusting position, and it's almost a compliment from a rabbit to say that they trust you when they sleep in this position. Grooming behaviors. Rabbits are actually very clean animals. They will groom each other. They will groom themselves and each other sometimes for a large portion of the day to keep their coat nice and clean. And these are some of the cutest behaviors that you will see. Like, they will use their front paws to wipe their face and then clean their ears. And they will groom each other. That is a sign of affection between rabbits. Sometimes if your rabbit is licking you, that means that they're grooming you. And that is a sign of affection that your rabbit actually really likes you. But grooming is just part of what rabbits do. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just rabbits like to be clean. So when rabbits nudge you, there are generally two types of nudges. There's the nudge that is like, please pet me. And there is the nudge that is like, get out of the way. So generally when a rabbit nudges you softly, or nudges you to, like, nudges underneath your hand or something like that, it's generally a softer nudge, and it's a please pet me, because rabbits very much like to be pet. The other reason that your rabbit might nudge you, that they'll usually nudge you, it'll be a hard nudge, and it'll be kind of like they're trying to push you out of the way. And usually that's what it means. It means your rabbit is trying to get you to get out of the way. So maybe you're sitting somewhere and blocking their access to someplace. They might nudge you to get you to go out, to move. Sometimes this is kind of a warning, like they'll nudge you to tell you to move, and if you don't, then they will like nip you next. So sometimes it's best to take their warning and get out of the way and let them go where they want to go. Another behavior that you will commonly see in rabbits is ear shaking, and this is when they'll like shake their head and shake their ears. There are actually three possible meanings for this. The first one is just that their ears are itchy and they're shaking their head to kind of make their ears a little less itchy. Usually this will be accompanied by, like, they'll scratch their ears with their back feet. Nothing to worry about unless it's excessive ear scratching, like if they are scratching their ears all the time, then you might want to get it checked out because they might have ear mites or something like that. But generally, nothing to worry about. The second reason they might shake their ears is if they are telling you to go away. Basically, if you're like going to reach out to pet your rabbit and then they shake their ears at you and kind of hop away at the same time, that's usually them saying, no, not right now. I don't want you to pet me right now. That's a way of telling you to just go away and leave them alone right now. But then the third time you might see your rabbit shaking their ears is when it's like a mini binky. They'll show that they're happy by twisting just the front of their body. And usually this is a little twist with their shoulders and their head, and it makes their ears flop around a little bit. Usually you'll see this behavior when they're happily running around the room, and it's just kind of in addition to show their excitement. Okay, the next behavior we're going to be going over is licking. So rabbits lick as a form of grooming. They can groom themselves, they can groom other rabbits, so it's a form of affection in that way. Same as when they groom you, it's a form of affection. But also, many rabbits just like to lick things. It's hard to say why. Maybe they like the texture, maybe they like the flavor. Like Ellie, she has a specific texture, like velvety textures that she very much likes to lick. I have certain pillows that my rabbits very much like to lick. So licking, in addition to it just being kind of a fun thing for most rabbits, it is also a scent spreading thing. So while it spreads their scent a lot less than things like spraying or chinning things, they can also spread it a little bit by licking things as well. So that's another reason for that behavior, why you may see them randomly lick a couple objects in their environment. It is because they are just spreading their scent a little bit. A periscope, or when your rabbit stands up on their hind legs. This is usually a curious behavior for rabbits. They're trying to get a different vantage point. This can also be a fear-based behavior if they're on the alert. So they might go up into a periscope because they heard something that is threatening. They don't quite know where it's coming from. They go up into a periscope to try to get a better view of the room around them, to try and figure out where it's coming from. And periscoping is also what rabbits do to beg for treats. I don't think this one really needs explanation because, you know, your rabbit goes goes up into that cute little that cute little standing periscope, and they look at you with those cute little bunny eyes, and they're begging you for a treat, and you know it. Okay, now let's talk about thumping. I do have a video going over a whole lot of details about thumping, because it's actually a pretty interesting phenomena in rabbits. But basically, most of the time they will thump for one of two reasons. Either they will thump because they are scared, or they will thump because they're angry. And you can basically tell the difference based on the rest of their body language. So when they're scared, they will have that alert body language that I was talking about earlier. They will look very rigid, and their ears will be up, and oftentimes in these cases they will thump, and they will continue thumping periodically until they feel like the danger has passed. If a rabbit is thumping because they are angry, they will show the more aggressive body language. Usually this will be a more territorial thumping, so you may more often see it with if you have other pets. Your rabbit might thump to warn your other pet not to come any closer to them or their territory, because your rabbit is trying to defend their territory. Now, the thing is, rabbits can also learn to use thumping as an attention-seeking behavior, essentially. So if they learn that when they thump, you will come running, then if they feel like they're not getting enough attention from you, they will start like having thumping temper tantrums, essentially, and they'll just keep thumping over and over again until they get the attention that they're looking for. So that's another reason why you might see rabbit thumping. It's a lot more common if rabbits are kept in enclosures that are too small for them, because then they get bored and they want you to come and let them out, or they want you to come and play with them. Zooming, when rabbits get the zoomies. So rabbits will randomly start kind of doing mad dashes around the room, sometimes doing figure eights. It's just a fun activity. Rabbits have so much energy. They're very active animals, and when they feel excited, they will just do little zooms around the room. Usually this will continue, maybe not for a couple of minutes, but for a while, then they'll just continue to do circles. It's really adorable. It's more common in younger rabbits because, of course, younger rabbits are going to have a lot more energy, but you might see it occasionally as rabbits get older too. They might still occasionally give you a couple zooms here and there, but overall it is a high energy, happy behavior to see. Did you know rabbits could purr? Okay, this is not the same thing as a cat's purr. It's just called purring because it basically means the same thing. So rabbits will purr by grinding their teeth together, their back teeth, and this means that they are content and happy. They're like relaxed happy rather than excited happy. So most often you will see this when they are laying on the ground and they are just in a very relaxed, content state. You will see it most often if you are petting a rabbit. So if you pet your rabbit, you give them scritches on their head or behind their ears, you will often see a little vibration in their whiskers. You may also feel a vibration on their head. Sometimes you can actually feel it. And then in some rare cases, or if you're listening very closely, you can actually hear it as well. And that is just a sign that your rabbit is very happy, even though they're not like energetic right now. A more serious sign that you want to look out for is a hunched posture in rabbits. This looks very similar to a rabbit loaf position, but it basically means the opposite. It means your rabbit is in pain and uncomfortable. Usually it is associated with digestive health conditions, which are very common in rabbits. So this will look like a loaf, except your rabbit will be kind of on their tippy toes on their front feet, and usually their eyes will be kind of squinted. You will also might see this behavior in combination with they will start to press their stomach against the ground, and then they'll go up into a hunched position, and then they will move and press their stomach against the ground. This can be a sign of gas, which can often lead to more serious digestive health conditions. So that's something that you want to pay attention to and learn the signs of, because it's a common position that rabbits sit in when they're not feeling well. When rabbits toss toys around, or when they toss food bowls or really anything else around, it's usually a very playful activity. It's a way that your rabbit is interacting with their environment. So rabbits are very curious animals, and they show their curiosity by using their teeth. Rabbit teeth are pretty strong, and they explore the world through their mouths. So they will pick up toys and toss them around, and it's usually just a fun thing that your rabbit is doing. You can play with them when they're doing this by, if they pick up something and toss it around, then you can go get it, put it back in front of them, and then they can toss it again. I call this reverse fetch. It's a way that you can be the dog and you get to go fetch whatever it is your rabbit throws away. But it's a fun way of playing with your rabbit. It's a Binky, and I wanted to save this for last because this is like the best rabbit behavior. We all want to see our rabbit's Binky. It is the sign of a super happy bunny. They just have so much joy pent up inside them that they can't help but jump for joy and spread it out. If you don't know what a Binky is, it looks kind of like this twisty jump in the air where they twist their front and back half in different directions, and it's just, it might look a little scary if you don't know what it is, I suppose, but once you do, it's like the happiest thing you want to see because it means your rabbit is very happy right now. Again, it is more common to see in young rabbits because they simply have more energy, but you'll see it in rabbits as they age too. You'll just more likely see those mini Binkies that I mentioned earlier where they might just twist their shoulder and their head because they don't quite feel like going into a full Binky. If you are new to caring for rabbits and you want a lot more useful information about like what are all the things that you need to know to make sure that you're taking great care of your rabbit, I have this free Bunny Basics PDF where I go through everything from their diet, rabbit proofing, how to socialize with your rabbit, and you can get that, and you can join my mailing list where I will have tips and tricks for how to basically take better care of your rabbit, things that I've learned through the years with having rabbits and then also working with the rescue rabbits at the shelter. So if that is something you're interested in, then please go ahead and sign up for it. I will have a link up here somewhere, and I will also have a link in the description for you so that you can find it more easily. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I do hope that we will see you next week.